Hello, so we are back in Creator World with Sunset Valley, but it's not really Creator World, it's Super Creator World. So it's a different version of Creator World. It's one that has been enhanced by modders, and it's available on the CAW store. I'll link it in the description box below the video, and it's a version of the tool I'm not that familiar with, because it's not that different from the original one. There are more options, and some of them I'm not a technical person, so some of them I'm very confused. This one, for instance, I have no idea what that means. The pawn tool, I've never used it. So, oh yeah, also the town is looking quite different from when we left it off last time, mostly because I removed almost all the buildings there so that I could go in edit town mode and then place lots where I needed to see the surroundings of the lot, so that I could place, for instance, the trail leading to it more accurately where I wanted it to be. For instance, let's show you Pinnacle Pond. So that's the trail here, and got it right actually. I didn't change it, so it goes right where I imagine the entrance would be. Perfect. So that's the version I made over in game, and I place it there, and it's easier to place a few lots that I've done. There are a lot less built lots in town. So same thing for this one, but here I'm going to move. So at first I put that trail there, and I think it would look better a bit more, even a bit more over there. I think I'll need to work a bit more on the path there, maybe over there. So these are the few changes I made. I haven't worked on the trees. I was waiting for that episode. I was waiting for the moment I would remember to record when I was in Creator World, because I keep forgetting to record. But yeah, mostly I've worked so on the different textures I placed, and on this part here. So what I've done here is, first I did, I think I talked about that I would have a parking lot as set dressing. I needed more parking spaces anyway, so that's why I did that. And so that can be done in the regular Creator World. But then what cannot be done in regular Creator World is adding a few things that are not in the catalog. So for instance, the bus is not in the catalog in the regular one, but is in that one. There are quite more objects available there, and can be a bit overwhelming. That's also why I usually use the other Creator World. But yeah, lot of objects over there, and it was also the case for the football, and I put a couple of them here and over there, because at first I had done a football field, an American football field there, and I put even columns that I found in that one here, and as you can see there are a lot, and then you can pick one, for instance, have it over there, but also have it here. I'm going to lay it down over there to have a horizontal column over there, and so as you can see, these are not the ones I had chosen when I wanted to do goalposts for American football, but it didn't look good either. I think at first I used ones from Island Paradise, is because they are quite. These ones are from the store, so I'm not going to use these for sure. These ones are classic ones, like from the base game. Oh, I could have used an archway. But yeah, I don't... they look nothing like the posts on football fields. So did not do that. I could have added the goalposts for soccer. I still could. Let's type goal. Ooh. I was Brazilian for a minute there. Okay, soccer goal. Could place it there and then do markings. Well, I can do that. So let me know if you think it's better with these, and I can try to do markings, or maybe not. Maybe just leave it like that if I do something else, or if I leave it as it was. The other thing I did there, because there is another activity, so I can leave it as it was and then place a few footballs here and there, so they can actually play on that in that area. One other thing here is I actually recolored the fence. So the fence here is one that is incredible, the regular one, but it's all rusty color, and here I wanted one grey one, and so I recolored it. I'm going to have recolors in that world. I made the fence high like that, both sides here, because I was thinking that the goalposts would be there, so didn't want the Sims to be kicking the ball onto the street. Another thing I did there is I actually added... So I did a running track, as you can see. So it's actually not... It's half a prison one, and one I'm hoping is going to be usable. So what I did is I actually added a sidewalk in there. So I'm thinking that since when they go on a jog, the Sims use the sidewalk, they are going to also be able to jog on this one. So I think I haven't playtested it because I haven't uploaded that world yet to my game, so I don't know yet if it's working, but there is a sidewalk, an invisible sidewalk. Yeah, they're going to run in a loop here, and starting there, and then it goes the whole way over there here. So to have an invisible sidewalk is pretty easy. It's in, let me show you. So in the invisible sidewalk, you can see the opacity map is actually one black square. So when you have a one black square like that, the sidewalk is going to be invisible. For instance, the residential street, so the one I did for the sidewalk that are usually in the street in the US, here. This one over there, so it's actually the full one, like that one, but the opacity map, both sides are all black, so that means that it's there, but it's invisible. So that's for that part of the world. And my big question is, do I do something for the sports field? Do I add soccer goals or more footballs maybe? Do I do markings? They look very... I'm not going to add football goalposts because when I did it, they look weird. So in that same vein of decorating, there is a lot I'm going to remove. Where is it? Usually I try to, since I didn't want to do too much in the world, I've tried to keep the lots as they were. Since I've made them over, I had to try and keep the same lot size. But there are a few lots I'm thinking of just removing. There are two of them I'm thinking of removing, and I'm going to do that today. So hopefully it's not your favorite, but this one here, it's a bit on the edge of the world, not that interesting to play in, except for a residential lot. This one, I think it might be one where there is the cafe from Showtime being placed there when you load the game for the first time. It might be there or there. I remember it's over there, but don't remember on what lot, but yeah, removing this one. And then there's this one. So this one, it's where what lot used to be there. It might have been the one I've placed over there. Used to be there. A big residential lot. What was bothering me is that it was blocking the view, because there is a fantastic view from that on the ocean and on the lighthouse. And also it's very close to the lot next door, which might be Agnes's here. And so instead of having a lot here, I'm thinking of having a park, but not a real one. It's always weird to say real in The Sims. So a park where I'm going just to put items from in Create a World there, and maybe a path, and that will be accessible to everyone, because it's a bit also close to the cliff edge. And it would have been very interesting if it were like these two lots over there, where you have to work with the terrain, the fact that they're on the cliff. So very interesting buildings there. But here it's flat, and I think it could be also be a breather, because there are lots here, also those three over there. So yeah, I'm going to remove it. Here, it's gone. Bye-bye. No regrets, okay? I'm trying to convince myself. But yeah, I'm going to work on it today and add a few items and see if I can have a sort of park over there. Just a quick one. I don't want to add too many items, so that not to overload the world here, but a few things, and maybe rearrange a tad the terrain so that it looks even more edgy, edge of the cliff. Okay, so I'm not done yet with that park-like area, but I've placed a few objects. I'm still wondering if I add a few more. I've done that before in other worlds. I don't know there. I don't want to change the world too much there, and I'm already adding maybe too much. That's my issue when I'm in Create a World. I never know where to stop, and also here it's not a world I'm going to play in. So if it were, I would have added a few more equipments over there, maybe games for children, and almost for sure sports equipment, like the chin-up bars and stuff like that. So they should be available in there. I'm just not going to look for them because I don't want to be tempted. So what I've done is I added a fence here so that the cliff side is secure, and then I'm going to work a bit more on the texture, I think, and have a fake path trail going over there. And I wanted to talk about where I've placed the item. So it's not my world, I'm just editing an already existing one. So the layers that are there on that sidebar are not the ones I've made. So I think they are mostly sorted out by districts, and I had to look through all of them to be sure. At first I thought maybe it was the overlook, but I think the overlook is the country-like area over there. And so this one is the bluff area. So I selected it, so make layer active, and then I placed the items there in that layer. When I place them, they are going to appear in that layer, so that if there is an issue with the item, it's easier to spot them and to be like, oh, okay, it's there, I can remove it from there, because sometimes you cannot grab them directly. They are hidden. To add an element, for instance, a bench, but not in that area. Let's say near the bleachers. So if I want to add a bench there, I'm going to try and select the area where we are. I think it's downtown, and make layer active, and then look for a bench. So there we go. So I'm going to avoid the ones that come with the store, and also everything that is workbench, not what I'm looking for here. That would be weird, wouldn't it? So I'm not sure, community bench, or maybe the boardwalk one. So this one is the Showtime one that I've used on the bleachers over there. So yeah, I'm not sure. So you cannot recolor them directly in Incredible. There is no color wheel there, so you have to go with the one that is available, but they can be recolored like I did for the fence over there. But if I do that, they are going to all look like that in that world. So even these ones. I'm trying not to add too much detail, too many little things, because if I start, I don't know when I'm going to be done. So let's stop there with these. Okay, so then let's talk about trees. I really like having quite a lot of trees in my worlds. Usually I try to pick them depending on where I'm thinking it is located. I'm thinking Pacific coast in the US, but maybe more the northern part. And I'm going to go mostly with coniferous trees like pine trees, fir trees, as they are already in the world. So going with that theme, I've already placed a few like that in the save file, but here it's a bit different because it's a different version of the world. It's going to be easier to add trees there because in Create a World they get all clustered together. So when you have the same variety and they are same area, they are bundled up together. Let me show you. Well, the other way to show you, I think I'm going to remove some first. The ones I'm going to remove, so these small fir trees over there, and I don't want to remove the ones on the coastline here, close to the cliff, because I like that they are there because they are not blocking the view from the houses here, but on the hill over there, they're smaller than the tall ones over there, and they look a bit out of place to me. So I'm going to remove, I'm thinking all of them. Are these different ones? They're not the same color, so I might keep the darker ones, because these ones, they're really not similar to these. These ones, it could be baby ones, you know, from the same variety. So as you can see, here I've selected just one, But when I do that, it selects the whole bundle. So meaning that all the trees from that type that are in that area are going to be removed at the same time. Or if I move them left or right, here. So all these ones are the same type. Meaning that these, I think, are a bit taller, so it's not exactly the same item. So here, I'm going to remove all of these. And when I pick this one, okay, so it also encompasses the ones that are over there and I don't want to delete. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go on roads and trees and to uncluster them. So select that tool here, and then you have to select the right layer. So that's why it's important to have all the trees in the layer you have chosen before. So when you place them, you have to have selected the layer you would like them to be in before. And well, you can move them afterwards from one layer to another, but it can be I've done that. It can be quite the chore. But here, down there, you select the layer and say OK, and all the trees in that layer are going to be unclustered. So you can select them one by one, deleting this one, and this one. So that's why it's also better to place the trees in Create a Wall, because they are becoming one big object. All the trees in the same area, from the same variety, they are going to be just one big object. So I can cluster them back up here, and then let's see with those black trees. So as you can see, it encompasses all these. I'm going to place a few trees there, trying not to do too many either. Well, I already removed a few black gum trees, I think they were over there. So I'm going to rearrange to adjust a bit more the hill, adding a few more trees. Also having the cypress. I'm looking for the cypress. Yeah, shoot, maybe not big ones, because I like the lots here to still have a view on the ocean. But let's see. So you have different sizes depending on, as you can see, when you have them there. So you can have several of them and then choose which one you'd like to use. I'm in the tree layer. So all of these are trees, and here are the one I've placed right now. So this one I like because it's big but not too big. So I'm going to use this one over there. And when you save the game, they automatically get all clustered together, as long as they are placed in the same layer. So this one is a bit small. Let's have it oriented this way, so that it's a tad different from the other one. So that's what I'm going to do. So place trees and finish that area over there, the park. So as you can see, I've added some terrain painting, and maybe I could maybe add at least a trash can. I think the wooden sign, I've added it afterward too. I've placed one there too, and I made a fake trail there. And then that part I went with a more hilly terrain there, so that it blocks a bit the view from the street, and explain a bit why it's empty over there. And I might add a few trees, but I like still that lot to have a view from the second floor. So maybe not too tall, the tree there. I'm going to add. I'll see which one I'm going to add. Okay, so I'll continue off screen because right now my computer is feeling the heat, so I'm going to stop for today. But I'll try to have a video presentation, I guess, of the world once I'm done. So I'm going to add just a few more things, add even more trees, but that's the main idea here. There are, let's say, a few wooded area. So for instance over there I'm not done. And also I've started adding more trees near Pinnacle Pond over there, because for me it's more the foresty area. And I remove a few of the black gum trees there. Oh yeah, before I stop, just wanted to show you something. So most of the time I try to paint the ocean floor, so I was hesitating about painting it, but I'm going to leave it as it is because it's a sandy floor mostly. So it's to view it, you uncheck the fog option here, and then you can visualize the floor. And I noticed, where was it? It was in the corner. There is a stretch of road over there, weirdly enough. So here, yeah, that's. Oh, and there is also something else. What the? I think I can get rid of it. That's a watermelon. Letters. Are these harvestable? I see an onion too. So what are these? Onions. Cannot delete a game object into that. Oh. So the global layer is this one. Oh my. Oh my gosh. How many objects do we have there? Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. Tomato, okay. I still haven't grabbed the watermelon. Oh, there is cheese. It's the whole grocery store over there. I'll put the fog back on because yeah, I need to turn it off. My poor computer is working overtime here. That's going to be it. That's going to be the last episode about that version of Sunset Valley in Creator World. So I still have one video to go for the makeovers, and it's going to be the interior of City Hall, and it will be next week because I won't have time to have it ready for this weekend. So it will be out next week. So that's it for this episode. Oh gosh, it's bothering me big time. I have no idea why the grocery has been put away in the corner over there. As I've said, a few more things to adjust, but that world should be ready soon. Next time I'm going in Creator World, it's going to be a whole different world. And if I remember to film, I'll see you in the next video. À bientôt!